Everyone wants a number. Tell me the number and I'll know where I stand. So every year, financial media obliges. Surveys come out announcing that Americans think they need $1.46 million to retire, or $1.9 million, or that the real number is at least $2 million if you want to be comfortable. And then everyone measures themselves against that figure and either feels relief, I'm close, or anxiety, I'll never get there. The problem is that none of those figures actually tell you anything useful about your situation specifically. They're averages. And in retirement planning, the average is almost entirely useless. What I want to do today is something different. I want to show you how to calculate your actual retirement number for 2026. The number that accounts for where you live, how you want to live, when you plan to retire, and what healthcare and Social Security and taxes actually mean for your specific situation. This isn't a universal answer, but it's a method that produces a useful answer. And the process of working through it tells you things about your retirement that no survey number can. Let's start with the foundation. The number you need to accumulate in a retirement portfolio is driven by one thing above all else: the gap between what you need annually and what's already guaranteed. Guaranteed income sources, Social Security, pensions, annuities, reduce how much your portfolio needs to generate. A retiree with a $3,000 per month Social Security benefit needs their portfolio to do a lot less work than a retiree with a $1,200 per month benefit. So the first calculation is, what does your life actually cost per year, and how much of that is already covered by guaranteed income? Let me walk you through what spending in retirement actually looks like in 2026, category by category. Housing first. If you own your home outright by retirement, you're looking at property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and utilities. In a mid-cost American city, these typically run $12,000 to $22,000 per year for a single-family home. If you still carry a mortgage, add those payments. If you plan to downsize or relocate, that changes the number substantially. Some people move from a high-cost state to a lower-cost one and cut their housing expense in half. Others downsize within the same city and save $400 to $600 per month. Housing is usually the single biggest lever you can pull on your retirement budget. Food, $600 to $1,000 per month for a couple, depending on how much you dine out. A couple who loves restaurants might spend $1,200 to $1,500 monthly on food and dining. A couple who cooks most meals at home may spend $700. Transportation. If you're still driving, budget $400 to $700 per month per vehicle for payments, insurance, gas, and maintenance, or less if your car is paid off and you're not replacing it. Many retirees find they can go from 2 cars to 1 in retirement, which is a meaningful annual saving. Healthcare is where the number gets complicated in 2026. If you retire before 65, you're buying your own insurance. Marketplace plans for a couple in their early 60s, not eligible for significant subsidies because your income is too high, can run $1,500 to $2,500 per month in premiums. That's $18,000 to $30,000 per year before any out-of-pocket. At 65 and Medicare eligible, the burden shifts. Standard Medicare Part B premiums in 2026 run about $185 per month per person. Add a Medigap supplement to cover what Medicare doesn't, typically $150 to $300 per month per person depending on your plan and location, plus Part D for prescriptions. A couple on Medicare with supplement coverage might pay $700 to $1,200 per month in premiums, with more manageable out-of-pocket after that. Still significant, and still rising faster than general inflation. Taxes. In retirement, income tax doesn't disappear. It changes character. Withdrawals from traditional IRAs and 401ks are taxed as ordinary income. Up to 85% of Social Security benefits may be taxable if your combined income exceeds certain thresholds. Many retirees find they're in the 12 to 22% federal bracket throughout retirement, lower than their working years but not zero. Plan for federal and state income taxes as a real line item. States vary enormously. Some have no income tax, some tax retirement income fully, some exclude Social Security or pension income entirely. Where you live matters to your tax bill. Lifestyle spending. This is the variable that separates retirements. A couple who travels twice internationally per year, dines out 3 times per week, attends concerts and sporting events, and hosts family holidays might spend $25,000 to $50,000 annually on purely discretionary items. A couple who stays closer to home, takes occasional domestic trips, and prioritizes lower-cost social activities might spend $10,000 to $15,000. Both are valid. Neither is wrong, but they produce dramatically different portfolio requirements. Now let me build 3 sample retirement numbers for 2026, representing 3 common profiles. Profile 1. The modest, comfortable retirement. Couple, both 65, living in a mid-cost city, home paid off, Social Security averaging $3,800 combined per month or $45,600 per year. Annual expenses, $65,000. The gap between expenses and guaranteed income is $19,400 per year. At a 3.5% withdrawal rate, conservative given today's environment, they need a portfolio of approximately $554,000. That's dramatically below the $1.46 million average people cite. Why? Because their guaranteed income is doing most of the heavy lifting. A well-structured Social Security claim and a paid-off house change the required portfolio size profoundly. Profile 2. The comfortable active retirement. Couple, both 63. Retire before Medicare eligibility, so marketplace insurance needed for 2 years. Travel twice a year, active social life, plan to help children financially. Social Security average $2,400 combined per month, $28,800 annually, because they claimed at 62. Annual expenses, $110,000. Gap, $81,200. Portfolio requirement at 3.5%, approximately $2.32 million. This is more than the average people cite, because early claiming, pre-Medicare healthcare and active spending all push the number up significantly. Profile 3. The single retiree. Moderate lifestyle. Individual, age 66, renting in a medium-cost city. Social Security, $2,100 per month, $25,200 per year. Annual expenses, $52,000. Gap, $26,800. Portfolio requirement at 3.5%, approximately $766,000. This is achievable but requires deliberate saving and thoughtful claiming, especially since a renting retiree faces more housing inflation risk than an owner. What these 3 profiles illustrate is that your number isn't $1.46 million or any survey figure. It's a product of your specific expenses, your guaranteed income, your timing, and your lifestyle choices. People with identical portfolio sizes may be in completely different financial positions depending on those variables. Here's what actually moves the needle in 2026 in ways that weren't as significant 10 years ago. Geographic arbitrage has become more powerful. With the shift in remote work culture and the proliferation of lower-cost cities with good infrastructure, retirees have more housing options than any prior generation. Moving from a California coastal city to Central Texas or from New York to North Carolina can cut housing costs in half and save on state income taxes simultaneously. For some people, this geographic move is worth $200,000 to $400,000 in reduced portfolio requirements. Social Security delay is worth more now than ever. With life expectancy continuing to extend, and with Social Security's inflation adjustments making delayed benefits increasingly valuable in higher inflation environments, the break-even math on delaying has shifted. For a healthy 62-year-old, the case for waiting until 67 or even 70 is stronger in 2026 than it was in 2010. Quantify what delay means for your specific benefit and make a deliberate decision rather than defaulting to claiming early because you can. Inflation in the first year matters more than people realize. If you retire in 2026 and inflation runs 5 or 6% rather than 3% in your first year, your baseline spending number is higher than projected, and every subsequent year adjusts from that higher base. This argues for a slightly larger cash buffer than planners typically recommend, 18 to 24 months of expenses in cash or short-duration bonds at retirement rather than the more commonly cited 12. The honest truth about how much you really need in 2026 is that it's somewhere between $500,000 and $3 million depending on your life, and any number outside your specific calculation is noise. Do the work. Calculate your real spending. Calculate your guaranteed income. Find the gap. Apply a 3 to 3.5% withdrawal rate to that gap. Then layer on your healthcare costs, tax projections, and family obligations. The result is your number. It may surprise you in either direction, but it will be real, and real is what you can plan around. What profile resonated most with your situation? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. And if you want the deeper calculation on Social Security claiming strategy or healthcare cost projection, those videos are on this channel. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Before you close this video, there's one more thing worth sitting with, and it's the thing most retirement calculators and articles completely skip. The number you calculate today is not a destination, it's a checkpoint. Your retirement number is not fixed from the moment you determine it. It changes as your life changes, as tax law changes, as the market performs, as healthcare costs evolve, and as your own priorities shift over the years of retirement. The retirees who treat their number as a permanent answer, hit the target, retire, done, often find that the number was built on assumptions that didn't hold in year 8 or year 15. The retirees who treat the number as a living baseline, who recalculate it or at least revisit it annually, who adjust their spending or their withdrawal rate when the picture changes, who update their Social Security projection as their claiming date gets closer, are consistently better positioned throughout their retirement than those who set the number and never revisit it. What does annual revisiting look like in practice? Once a year, ideally at the same time each year, January or around your birthday, run through these 4 questions. First, is my actual spending tracking my projected spending? If you're spending more than projected, is it in categories that are genuinely worth it or is it drift? Second, is my portfolio balance on track given my assumed returns and withdrawal rate? A retirement planning tool or a simple spreadsheet projection will tell you whether you're ahead or behind the original plan. Third, has anything changed in my healthcare situation, family obligations, or income sources that would affect the plan? Fourth, is my Social Security claiming strategy still optimal given my current health and financial picture? These 4 questions, answered once a year, will catch problems early enough to address them. They'll also confirm when things are going well, which itself has value, because the chronic anxiety of not knowing is one of the most common and avoidable features of a retirement that should feel secure. Your number exists to give you information. Use it that way. Here's one more thing that your retirement number should account for that almost no calculator includes: the value of optionality. One of the most important functions of a retirement portfolio, beyond funding current spending, is preserving the ability to respond to unexpected opportunities and unexpected crises. The opportunity to help a grandchild with a down payment, the ability to relocate if your health or your family's situation requires it, the option to upgrade care for a spouse who needs more support than anticipated, the flexibility to take a once-in-a-lifetime trip that presents itself unexpectedly. All of these require having money that isn't already allocated to something else. A retirement number built entirely around the expected spending plan leaves nothing for what couldn't have been planned. The retirees who feel genuinely free in retirement, not just financially stable but genuinely free, are almost always the ones who built a cushion above their spending number. Not a large one, but enough that unexpected good and bad events can be responded to from abundance rather than scarcity. Include that cushion in your number. Call it the optionality reserve. It's the part that doesn't show up in any retirement calculator, but shows up in every happy retiree's financial story. The final practical point: share your retirement number with someone who can hold you accountable to it. Not post it publicly, but tell your spouse, your financial advisor, a trusted friend, someone who will ask the question, how are you tracking against your plan, once a year. The retirement number that stays only in your head is the one that gets quietly revised when things get uncomfortable, without anyone noticing. The one you've shared becomes a commitment device, something you hold yourself to not because of external enforcement, but because you've made it real by articulating it. Research on goal achievement consistently shows that specific, shared, written goals are far more likely to be pursued than private, vague ones. Your retirement number is a goal. Treat it with the same discipline you'd bring to any other important target. Write it down, share it, revisit it annually. Let it guide you. That's the difference between a number that's interesting and a number that actually changes your life. One genuinely useful tool for building your real retirement number in 2026 is New Retirement, a consumer financial planning platform that handles the Social Security optimization, Roth conversion modeling, tax projections, and Monte Carlo simulations that the standard retirement calculator ignores. It's not a substitute for a professional financial plan, but it's by far the most capable self-service tool available at its price point. Running your numbers through a tool like this, with your actual accounts, your actual Social Security estimates, and your actual expected spending, produces a result that's orders of magnitude more useful than any back-of-the-envelope multiple. Use it. Your real number exists. It's findable. The work of finding it is worth doing.